Tonight, growing backlash after President Biden's sharp warning that the U.S. will block the delivery of certain offensive weapons to Israel if it intensifies its assault on Hamas in southern Gaza.
If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu defiant tonight. If we have to stand alone, he says, we will stand alone. If we have to, we will fight with our teeth and nails, but we have much more than nails. After halting the shipment of 3,500 bombs to Israel last week amid fears of more civilian casualties, President Biden is for the first time acknowledging the impact of those U.S.-supplied weapons.
Civilians have been killed in Gaza as a consequence of those bombs.
But former President Trump is slamming the decision to suspend arms deliveries to a close American ally.
I wouldn't do what Biden did. He just abandoned Israel.
Still, some Democrats are praising President Biden, saying he's protecting the more than 1 million Palestinians in Rafah.
We must now use all of our leverage to prevent the catastrophe in Gaza from becoming even worse. The United States of America must not be complicit in this atrocity.
Tonight, the White House insists the president's commitment to Israel's security remains ironclad and that it would still supply defensive weapons. Lester?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.